Hi guys, welcome back. And in today's video, we are going to be doing Q3FY25 of the hospital space. Also, belated Holi wishes, right? I hope all of you all had a great time celebrating Holi with your friends and family. But now we are going to be coming back and doing the hospital space right now. So while we are doing the hospital space, right, we will be first talking about, how the demand is like, what is, how does the entire landscape of this hospital space is looking like, and then we will go into the nitty-gritty part of the hospitals, like each and every hospitals that we will do. Okay, now I think by the description you already know, what are the hospitals we'll be covering: Jupiter, Global Health, GPT Healthcare, then Max, Apollo, Narayana Hridayalaya, Kim's Hospital, and then after that or kaun sa hai, I think Kovai, and I think that's it. Yatharth and Asarfi. By the way, Yatharth and Asarfi ka hospital, the Yatharth and Asarfi, these two companies, I have already done the video in, like, separately I've done the video, right when the result had come out along with the con call. So watch that video if you want that in-depth breakdown of Yatharth and Asarfi. Right now, I'll be covering Yatharth and Asarfi, like, while we will be doing the P2P over here, that time I'll cover it. Okay, not like in depth, I won't go with those two hospitals, right? And these are the hospitals I'm covering, and like I told you the list, I won't be obviously able to cover the all the all the hospitals in the listed space. It's just not physically possible for me to do it in video, like, right? I mean, by this you also understand how to do, by looking at today's video, understand what to look for and how to make the analysis. And if you all want to understand it even better, what exactly to look for, how to read the con call, get the investment checklist workshop, and you will be able to do it all by yourself, right, for the other hospitals. Okay, and I think you all know, right, starting from tomorrow, that is tomorrow morning, the prices of the workshop would literally be doubled, right, from 999 to 1999. Okay, so anyways, coming back right now, first let us understand the landscape of the hospital. How does the demand look like? What is the condition of these hospitals? Like, how is India ka landscape of this healthcare industry looking like? Okay, first of all, when we talk about the demand of the demand of the hospital has been great. Okay, I mean, I actually feel really bad talking about this, because whenever you tell demand of the hospital is great, it indirectly means, like, a lot more people are falling sicker, right? Like, a lot more people are falling sick and things are not going well for them. But unfortunately, that is a reality of the lives that we live today, right? Because we are living a life where we do not consume a lot of healthy foods. We are not consuming enough protein in our diet. We are eating a lot of ultra high processed food, right? We're not getting any kind of movement, no exercise, which is causing a lot of these illnesses, not just in terms of your lifestyle related diseases or chronic illnesses that we call, but also, these chronic illnesses are, are getting multiplied into bigger illnesses such as cancer and other things, right? So as a result of it, you see that demand over here is not a problem at all. In fact, the demand that you see, what it was 10 years back and compare it to now, the demand is very strong. And even looking ahead, we see, like, the demand continues to, we do not see that, there will be a dip in terms of demand because of the way we are living our lives, right? The way humans are living their lives. I mean, hospitals are, like, bound to make money as a result. Okay, in fact, the situation is such that earlier, if you look, right, we had these big hospitals only in T1 cities, right, like only in the metropolitan cities. But we are slowly seeing this change and shift. We are finding this, big hospitals, multi-speciality, super speciality hospitals, not just even, something like oncology treatment, cancer treatment and all, right? These are like expensive treatments earlier, and used to find it only in T1 cities, right? But now what is happening, you'll see all that hospitals, the people are putting up this huge hospitals, big facilities, not just in T1 but also in T2 and other T3 cities also. Why? Because that's how good or that's how great the demand is. Okay, so that is one of the reasons. The second thing over here, when you look at hospitals, think about it. How does a hospital make money over here, right? Hospital, unlike IT companies, they do not get immense operating leverage, or like any platform businesses, right? Where let's say let's say you acquired the customer once, and then after that you get immense operating leverage now, like whenever he uses the product. But that is not the case in terms of hospital. The problem with hospital is what? One, you have to put such a huge capacity. Okay, now इस capacity लगाने में क्या होता है, आपका इतना time जाता है, आपका depreciation high होता है. Think about it. To construct a hospital, let's say if you're getting a land, उसके ऊपर उसका एक design बनाना, hospital कैसा होगा, right? After that, constructing a hospital, then getting doctors, then getting all those machines and all for that. This will take you a minimum minimum 5 years for you, ठीक है. And then after that, for that hospital just to break even, not even turn profitable, it would take another 2 to 3 years. Then profitability होगा शायद अगला 3 या 5 साल में, ठीक है. So the entire time, from a founder, let's say the time he's putting up a hospital till the time he probably makes money, the time could be somewhere between, sometimes it could be 3 years depending on the size of the hospital, and it can go even up to 10 years, right? So क्या होता है यहाँ पे, as an investor you make money over here when, let's say, there is the capacity is already there, and then you're seeing, the immediately ramp up of that capacity is happening, right? Like when I tell ramp up over here, probably not the right word, but commissioning of that capacity is happening. That is when you make a lot of money as an investor का perspective से मैं बात कर रही हूँ, ठीक है. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, most of the hospitals today, what is happening, at least in the listed space, they either have, they've reached that maximum capacity, ठीक है. So now क्या हो रहा है, growth में दिक्कत आ रहा है, as a result, like they are getting operating leverage, but आगे जाके वहाँ पे growth में दिक्कत आ रहा है, ठीक है, because there isn't enough beds. You know a hospital will have 300 beds, what is the maximum number of patients you can cater to. It's not like you can cater to 500 patients with a 300 bed hospital, right? So what is happening, there are two ways you can categorize a hospital. One is you probably have, you've reached a maximum capacity, okay, and then after that you don't have the money का lack हो रहा है, issue with money, you couldn't put up a bigger hospital. As a result क्या हो रहा है, growth rate में problem आ रहा है, bottom line बहुत तगड़ा है, ठीक है, but growth rate has tapered down, okay, this is one problem. Or let's say if you are putting up the capacity भी, आप उतना तेजी से नहीं कर रहे हो, so it would eventually add to your top line over there also. So this is one category. The second category of hospitals where they're doing massive expansion, लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर एक्सपेंशन कर रहे हैं, जहां दिख रहा है, लैंड दिख रहा है, कोई पड़ा हुआ हॉस्पिटल दिख रहा है, दे आर गोइंग, दे आर एक्वायरिंग, दे आर पुटिंग देयर ब्रांड नेम एंड दे आर डूइंग सो, ओके. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, इतना तेजी से ग्रो कर रहे हैं ना, द बॉटम लाइन इज सफरिंग एज अ रिजल्ट, बिकॉज व्हाट डिड आई टेल इन द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द वीडियो, राइट? बिकॉज यहाँ पे खर्चा इतना ज्यादा है, द इनिशियल कॉस्ट इज सो मच. थिंक अबाउट इट ना, बिफोर द हॉस्पिटल स्टार्ट्स ओनली यू विल हैव टू गेट ऑल द मेडिसिन एंड स्टैक इट अप, यू हैव टू गेट ऑल दिस बिग मशीन्स आपका, राइट? MRI का मशीन्स आपका, ऑन्कोलॉजी का ट्रीटमेंट का, डायलिसिस ट्रीटमेंट का मशीन्स आप सब लाके रखना पड़ेगा हॉस्पिटल्स में. You have to get your nurses on payroll, you have to get your doctors on payroll, right? And now right, hospitals are mostly dependent on doctors, because जितना बड़ा डॉक्टर आपका हॉस्पिटल्स के साथ एसोसिएट हो जाएगा, उतना आपका ब्रांड इमेज भी ज्यादा होगा, राइट? So this is the problem over here, right? So all the expenses are upfront for you over here, but आपका जो expenses, your profitability comes later over here, ठीक है? So as a result what is happening, आपका तो growth rate तो बहुत तगड़ा है, but it is, since you're doing so much expansions, इतना कुछ है, and it takes a lot of time for you to get profitable and break even, तो क्या हो रहा है, वो bottom line में दिक्कत आ रहा है. So it's either one category, the first category, or the second category. In today's space, at least right now, as we sit and talk about it, it is very difficult to find a hospital that is hitting sixers in both, जिसका growth rate भी बहुत तेजी से है. Along with that growth rate, we are getting operating leverage also, because as an investor you would need both, right? You would need the growth rate, right? Because growth rate determines, कि आपका PE का re-rating कितना तेजी से हो जाएगा, right? That is one thing that determines. The other thing that is required is operating leverage, because अगर EPS is not growing, you and I as a shareholder, if the EPS doesn't grow, we will not make money, right? So we would need both. We would need growth rate as well as high growth rate as well as operating leverage for us to get both PE re-rating, right? PE re-rating, and if the PE re-rating happens, हमारा पैसा बन जाएगा यहाँ पे. So that is the thing. Now when we divide the entire hospital space, at least in the listed category, we can divide the hospital into three categories. One is the large hospitals, large cap है, एक है mid cap और दूसरा है छोटू cap. Okay. In the small cap, we have Asarfi and GPT Healthcare. At least in my list right now, I have those two hospitals. In the mid layer, we have, I would say in the small category, we can also add Asarfi, GPT, Yatharth, because Yatharth का around 3,000 crore का market cap है, and probably even Kowai, because 5,000 crore का ये market cap है. So I would say anything below 5,000, 6,000 का market cap, I would say I would put in that small cap. Then we have this mid level जहाँ पे आता है Jupiter, then Jupiter आता है, which is like around 10,000 crore का market cap. Then we have Kims, then we have Narayana Hrudayalaya, which are 25, 30,000 crore का market cap. Then we have the large, like bada sa bada, which are the two big daddies over here are Apollo and Max Hospital. Okay, so this is how the segregation you can do, basically like large cap, mid cap and chotu cap. Okay, this is how we can do. Now over here, first, I do not know how you guys would like me टॉप टू बॉटम करना चाहते हैं, बॉटम टू टॉप, बट आई विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम बॉटम से हम ऊपर तक जाएंगे। पहला छोटू कैप करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद मिड कैप, और फिर उसके बाद लार्ज कैप, फिर सारा का सारा P2P करेंगे, ठीक है। और छोटू कैप में हमने क्या बोला, असरफी है, यहाँ पे जीपीटी हेल्थ केयर है, और कौन सा यथार्थ है, ठीक है। आई थिंक these are the three hospitals over here. Now over here पहला तो I've already covered यथार्थ, I've already covered असरफी also. The other hospital that is there is GPT Healthcare, ठीक है। Now GPT Healthcare क्या है, it is a very small regional hospital. By the way, each and every single hospitals का in detail analysis you'll find in business analysis playlist. Since it is an update video, I just want to tell you like how Q3 has been, what is the direction looking like for these businesses, and we'll be doing a P2P. अगर मैं सबका business model यहाँ पे explain करने लगी, then this video will be 3 hours, and I don't think you and I both have that patience over here, right? मेरा तो यहाँ पे like गला तो it will go, but I don't think even you will be you will be patient enough to listen me on a weekend, that too for like 3 hours, right? But anyways, let's first talk about GPT Healthcare. So GPT is a very small hospital. It is a regional hospital in Calcutta, so it is very focused in that Calcutta and that eastern part of our country, okay. And over here also, right, these people have 4 hospitals in Agartala, Howrah, Salt Lake and Dum, ठीक है। These are the 4 locations that they have. Now in चारों locations में क्या हो रहा है ना, already the hospital is reaching at least in the couple of hospitals over here, they're reaching a maximum capacity, ठीक है। See, any hospital can do maximum 70 to 80% का occupancy. They can't do like 100% का occupancy नहीं होता है, only in something like COVID or special situations it can happen. Now GPT क्या है, already these 2 hospitals are reaching a couple of hospitals of theirs is reaching that 60% का occupancy. Then they have the other 2 hospitals which are at 40% occupancy, so they're trying to maximize that, and along with that what they're doing, they're trying to get 2 new hospitals. One is Raipur में, एक और है Jharkhand, which is around 150 bed each का hospital है, ठीक है। This Raipur hospital will be done probably in March, and Jharkhand will be done sometime, I believe in until now it's not really clear when it will be done, because abhi bhi they have just got the land and everything, so it's still a little bit ambiguous situation है यहाँ पे, ठीक है। So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है ना, already existing hospital is one is reached maximum, they are finding it really hard over here to to get that maximum occupancy, and on the other hand ये जो छोटा जो उनका expansion कर रहा है, it is nowhere up to the mark over here also. Like even if they come up, they are going to come up probably 2 to 3 years later, right, with the expansion, so not really adding much to the top line. इसलिए आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे sales is up around 6% and PAT is up by another 6.1%. Now over here also आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो occupancy तो बढ़ा ही नहीं. When you check the occupancy from last year to this year, it's been flat. Mostly given that 6% का growth rate has come by increase in ARPOB, which means what, आपने शायद higher case mix या you've treated like a costly treatment आपने दिया, वरना you increase the price over here, ठीक है। So that is the only thing over here. In fact over here ना, with these kind of hospital, आप जब छोटे होते हो, for you it becomes very important to get immense volume growth. Occupancy में आपको ये खेल करना पड़ेगा, because ARPOB का कोई खेल नहीं है ना यहाँ पे, because why, think about it now, how can you even charge at the end of the day, like let's say इनका जो ARPOB है, it is around 30k, you can't charge like max 75k because you don't provide facility like max to charge 75k at the end of the day, right? And इनका USP ही है, like ये छोटे hospital का, the USP is only कि like we will give you affordable treatment compared to the others, so price hike का यहाँ पे question ही नहीं आते ultimately to play that ARPOB का game over here, ठीक है। So that is another thing, ठीक है। So overall can you see that GPT का 6% का growth है, like who would even want 6% का growth, right? So that is one thing, ठीक है। Then other than that, like I told you, we've covered Asarfi over here, we've covered Yatharth over here, right? Asarfi is like a 45 to 50% का growth engine, Yatharth is a 30% का growth engine, ठीक है। We will compare all of these three with later P2P में हम compare करेंगे later with max and everything, but now understand the scenario कि like यहाँ पे जो है what is this GPT Healthcare that is there, they do not have a massive expansion plan coming up either, and the existing hospital also are not doing well, ठीक है। Then we have the mid cap, ठीक है। mid में हमारा क्या आ रहा है, Jupiter आ रहा है, Global Health Medanta आ रहा है, KIMS आ रहा है, then we have KIMS, Krishna Institute of Medical Science, and then we have Narayana Hrudayalaya. So we have these 5 companies that are there. So first we will talk about Jupiter Lifeline Hospital. Jupiter Lifeline जो है, it is a regional again, okay. Most of them other than Apollo, other than Max, little bit, not even Max. These are the only two, I would say, like little bit unka pan India presence. Fortis is also one more pan India presence, right? But most of the hospital, especially in small and mid cap na, they have a lot of regional based presence. Okay, अगर आप कंपेयर करते हो जुपिटर को, जुपिटर जस्ट लाइक हाउ जीपीटी हमने बात किया, इट इज इन कैलकाटा. Jupiter Lifeline Hospital is from that Maharashtra Pune regions. Okay, so right now they have three hospitals, one in Thane, one in Pune, and one in Indore. Okay, now with along with that, what they're doing is they're putting up two new capacities, another hospital in Pune and another hospital in Dombivli. Okay, so totally taking up, they're actually, when they came to IPO, their plan was, they had around 1000 beds and they wanted to take it up to around 2500 beds in a span of like 5 to 6 years. Okay, and that is exactly what they're doing, because if this Pune and Dombivli bed hospital comes up, which is 500 bed capacity each, it will take, it will take them to 2000. Now along with that, they have come up with another hospital called as Mira Road में एक hospital है, which is also another 300 bedded capacity का hospital, which will take them to, to what the promises they made during IPO time के, like, we will take our bed capacity to 2500 in a span of 5 to 6 years. So that is that alignment, or according to the plan only they are going. Okay, but the problem यहाँ पे क्या है, with Jupiter, actually both Jupiter and Yatharth had come, I think IPO आया था in the same year. I think all Global Health, Jupiter, Yatharth, ठीक है, probably like little bit 4 to 5 months का difference था इनका IPO आने में, but everybody had come out, I believe, in the same year only IPO. The only difference was between the three, Yatharth had the maximum, like, जो bed capacity double कर रहा था ना, it was a maximum, like they were doubling the bed capacity in a very short duration of time compared to either Global Health और यहाँ पे जो है Jupiter का. ठीक है, in fact you will also see one more thing over here. There was once upon a time where Global Health made a lot of money. Okay, because in the entire hospital race, if you look at it, they were growing at 30%. They were the highest, even greater than Max, because that time Max का hospital का growth rate had come down. ठीक है, then क्या हुआ, Yatharth came into the race, that was growing at 40%, तो Global Health का वहाँ पे गया, and then after that Jupiter also came. It was a very interesting time, but let's not digress over here. Now let's stick to Jupiter. ठीक है, Jupiter का क्या है ना, the problem is that only, although they are doubling the bed capacity, they are taking a span of like 6 to 7 years to do so. Okay, other than like somebody like Yatharth, which is doing it in a span of 3 to 4 years. Okay, so the same bed capacity, but bed capacity double करने में किसी का time ज़्यादा हो रहा है, किसी का time कम हो रहा है. So now do you understand why one is a much better bet than the other? ठीक है, that is the only problem I have with Jupiter. ठीक है, it's a very good company, इसका corporate governance का issue ही नहीं, unlike Yatharth and all. But problem is यही, जिस rate से वो bed capacity कर रहे हैं ना, it is relatively slow. It is a good 15 to 20% का growth engine. और एक problem यहाँ पे है कि like, why इसका जो bed capacity जो है, why it is taking slow is, unlike all the other people, right, who are either acquiring something या brownfield कर रहे हैं या कुछ, these people go into the greenfield का route. Okay, they will acquire a hospital. I mean, they won't acquire a hospital, they will acquire a land, फिर उसके बाद वो building का design बनाएगा, फिर they will get permission, then they will construct a hospital. As a result, that is why it is taking like 5 to 7 years for them to like put up a capacity. So ये जो existing Pune का hospital है, it will be commissioned in, I believe, in Q1 of FY26, somewhere in that time. Dombey will be commissioned in FY26, and then the other one in 27-28, the other Pune hospital. The Mira Road ka right now, we do not have any idea when it will be commissioned, because abhi iska land ka acquisition hua hai. Iska bhi wohi hai, sales is up 18%, PAT is up 20%, occupancy jo hai, occupancy is 66% versus 63%, and ARPOB jo hai, ARPOB has increased by 10% over here. So maximum यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, right, because the existing hospitals, Thane, Pune and Indore, everybody has reached a maximum occupancy of 60 to 70%. ठीक है, so they need these other three hospitals that are there in Pune, Dombivli and everything to really come and attack over here, to really come, so that यहाँ से उनका occupancy जो है, volume growth that is there will come, वरना उनको सिर्फ value growth से खेलना पड़ेगा, because bed ही नहीं है ना. That is a problem over here. That coming back to the first point that I told, demand में, landscape में क्या problem है, either you have all the beds are full, and as a result you have no more beds to give, so आपका growth rate taper हुआ है. Yeah, second over here what is happening, आपका growth rate taper हुआ है, but the amount of time that is taking for all this capex, it is taking very long, right, उसके वजह से growth taper हुआ है. ठीक है, so Jupiter comes in that second case where they are doing the capex. ठीक है, but as a result since this capex is going to take very very longer period of time, we do not know, until then probably the growth rate will still be around 15 to 20% only. ठीक है. Now I know I might be going like a bullet train over here, but the thing is, it's already a 20-minute video and I'm just down to 2 hospitals and itna sara hospitals cover karna hai, so like I just, I that is why I'm rushing over here, ठीक है. Then we have the in the mid cap we have the second hospital called as Global Health. Iska bhi sales is up 12% and PAT is up 16%. Again the same story over here, growth rate has come down massively because jo existing hospitals hai wahan pe capacity, in the matured hospitals, the hospitals that has been up for more than 5 years, they have reached maximum capacity, ठीक है. And the other chotu hospitals jo inka hai less than 5 years, they've already are at 40 to 50% ka capacity. So that existing growth, and those hospitals, some hospitals are suffering from problems, jahan pe there is some occupancy fill up hone mein problem ho raha hai. So this is one or two problem. Again these people also wahi hai, they have to wait for lot of new hospitals for them to commission, ठीक है. यही है उनका problem. But over here the entire sales has come, like it's not been really that great for them because inka occupancy is flat, inka ARPOB is also flat this year. Probably in the entire mid cap na Global Health is the least interesting space. Iska growth rate to bahut taper ho gaya tha because like I told you na, they were a good 30% ka growth engine and they had slightly come down. In fact, in one of the con calls, one analyst had asked, like, why are you going and, putting up greenfield or something? Why are we not doing? He had passed a very shady comment. I think it was for a Yatharth ka management to like, bhai, main to acquisition nahi kar raha hu. Main to apna hi hospital khada karke rakhunga. I don't want to go gung ho like other management that is doing. But anyways, theek hai. Iska bhi wahi hai. Like, they are doing a lot of bed capacities. They are doing addition, right? Like in Indore, I think one of the hospitals in Noida, which is a 500-bed hospital, it will be commissioned in Q1 of this year. Then they have a partnership with DLF, okay, in the South Delhi, which will also be commissioned. The problem is, inka jo bhi hospitals hai, Mumbai mein they are putting up a 500-bed hospital, South Delhi mein ek hai, Ranchi mein they're coming up with another one. But the problem over here, especially unka jo 500-bed ka hospital hai, which is in, South Delhi ka market, Bombay ka market, since they are doing it again up from scratch, there is a delay over here. Like last time there was a delay because they didn't get a permission for construction and everything, right? So we can't tell, like, although they have given a timeline for like 4 to 5 years, sometimes there can be a delay of, a way more than that. It might take time because you're doing everything from scratch over here. But, that's the part and parcel of the business. You can't help it. But having said that, you see, again, this comes in the second category that we spoke about, right? Where growth jo hai taper hua hai, and aage ka growth aane ke liye you need the capex. But wo capex karne mein, we are taking a lot more time, 5 to 7, probably years, and we do not know until that other hospitals, new hospitals that are there, until they get commissioned, it is very difficult, to like understand or estimate, aage jaake shayad uska growth rate, probably it won't be in that 25 to 30% ka level, which was earlier, okay? Then we have, I would say, one hospital that I was really looking forward to for this quarter was actually Krishna Institute of Medical Science, because this hospital was going from case 2 to case 3. What was case 1? Jiska growth rate taper hua hai and there is no capex also happening. Case 2, growth rate taper hua hai but the capex is happening, right? And but the capex is taking, we do not know when this capex will happen. Until the capex happens, growth rate won't come. And the case 3, jahan pe capex is already done and now it is time to, reap the fruits of it. So KIMS was going from case 2 to case 3. Unka lot of hospitals, a lot of, they have a combination of both brownfield and greenfield that was supposed to go commissioned in either in Q3 or Q4. But unfortunately, for the यहाँ पे थोड़ा delay हुआ है in commissioning. Instead of Q3, a lot of hospitals will be commissioning in Q4, and as a result, जो भी Q4 में हो रहा था commission, it will get commissioned in Q1. Why? Because the permissions that are there to to run these hospitals and everything, certain operational things that are there are getting delayed. As a result, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा delay होने का problem हो रहा है, ठीक है? Over here, but यहाँ पे one thing, the pace of growth has come up for KIMS. That is one thing you can tell, ठीक है? Because sales is up by 27%, PAT is up by 20%. But here is the catch: this entire sales जो है ना, जो 27% का sales है, a maximum bump of the sales has come, from where? ARPOB. Because ARPOB has grown by 20% on a year-on-year basis over here, ठीक है? So, like I told you, whenever you talk about a hospital, you need both volume growth as well as value growth. Because until when will you keep increasing the prices. Now that is also there, right? But यहाँ पे volume growth ही नहीं है. In fact, if you see over here, on a 9-month basis, the occupancy has come down by 10%. अगर आप Q3 versus Q3 भी देखते हो ना, the occupancy has come down by 10%. So maximum यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Because जो भी existing hospital है, it is running at full capacity. Like I told you, they need these new hospitals to come. But these hospitals which were supposed to be commissioned in Q3 and Q4 are getting delayed, and they will be commissioned in Q1. Okay? So the maximum bump they are getting, it is due to ARPOB. In fact, ARPOB is up by 23% on a 9-month basis. So this is a huge problem over here. Okay? In terms of KIMS, hopefully it will be, all the beds that is there, it will be commissioned in Q1 and will add on to the growth rate. Because agar iska, all these beds that are there, it will get commissioned. Almost I would say more than 800 beds are supposed to be commissioned over here. And if it gets commissioned over here and we get that volume growth coming, it can give a very, very tagda growth, tagda competition to Max and Yatharth as well, both of it, right? So that is one thing. Then we have Kovai over here also, I think. But Kovai ka problem kya hai na, I will not cover Kovai in this video because I do not know what is happening over there. I've read the annual report and everything. Since that company doesn't do press release, PPT nahi karte, con call nahi hai, there is no information about it. I would rather tell you that I don't know something than to give you guys, very confidently मैं wrong information दे दूँ. So that is another thing. और जो भी data है, it is like a very old data, like 6 months old data that I have, and I don't think it is really apt to do it, especially when we've been 9 months into this year already, right? It is not right. So इसके वजह से मैं कोवाई का बारे में बात नहीं कर सकती हूँ. Although उसका भी growth rate is around 10%, उसका भी KIMS जैसा ही problem है, where lot of commissions, capacities are supposed to be commissioned in this year, but we do not know. Like it was supposed to be commissioned in this year, but we do not know what has happened. Shayad it's getting delayed. Shayad when it is going to happen. There is no clue at all, right? And I don't like these kind of companies जो जाके शायद या credit report को या कोई brokerage company को they give all this information as to like what is happening, but they can't come and do a con call या एक छोटा सा press release भी नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है? So overall, do you see over here in the entire mid cap का space, right? One is in small cap, we saw that hardly anything is going on. In the mid cap का space, do you understand one thing? Like either capex is not happening, or I would say mostly it is coming in the second category where the capex is happening. Growth rate is getting tapered because यहाँ पे already occupancy is maximum, and जो capex हो रहा है, it is taking way longer time, right? Like for Jupiter, it will take another like 27-28 FY 27-28 maybe we'll probably see 2 of its Dombivli and Pune hospital being commissioned. Medanta का भी probably 3 to 5 years लगेगा, to put up their big capacities. KIMS का we should probably see in Q1. Kovai का we do not know what is happening. So again, all of it the same thing. In सब का growth rate taper हुआ है. The only contender over here in the mid cap over here is KIMS over here. You can tell, ठीक है? Then we have the large cap over here, जिसमें I would say. Oh, there is another one, Aster DM Healthcare also in this space. Aster का भी वही है. Aster is a hospital which is from this Kerala region, Kerala, Tamil Nadu region and Karnataka region. But 50% of the revenue comes from Kerala region, okay? और यहाँ पर भी वही है, sales is up 10%. अब PAT मत देखने जाओ because PAT में, you might see like, when you look at it right, the income statement, you see that the PAT is down by more than 50%. But that is not the case. One is last year का PAT में, the base was higher because, they had this Aster GCC, जो Gulf countries में also they had, Aster का hospitals, they sold it off, okay? So because of that, one of the reason is the PAT is higher. Second is, this time they had a lot of one-time exceptional items, because what Aster is doing is, there is this company called as, I forgot the name of the company, but there is a company in the south, in the southern market, and they're trying to acquire that company and merge that company, okay, along with Aster. Now, if they merge this company, क्या होगा? The total number of beds that will be there, it would be around 10,000 beds. Why are they merging these companies? Because Aster right now is there in T1 cities mostly, in all the three, in Karnataka, in Kerala, and in Bangalore. By the way, guys, if you are in Bangalore, if you come through that T2 airport, you will find Aster hospital over there. But anyways, coming back over here, I don't know if it's in T2 or be a T1 ka terminal, but it's there somewhere over there in Bangalore airport. It is there. So whenever I come, I should be like, "Chi, 16% ka growth engine." But anyways, coming back over here. So why Aster is doing this merger is because, like I told you, right now we are seeing a lot of demand in T2 and T3. And the problem kya hai in T2 and T3? एक अच्छा hospital नहीं है. So a lot of people can get this first mover advantage over here. So that is why this existing hospital में जो ये merge कर रहे हैं ना, they have a very strong foothold, especially in Kerala ka T2 cities and T3 cities. So that is why they're trying to merge these two hospitals, Aster and the other company. And as a result, इनका footprint जो है, it will become bigger, like around 10,000 beds and probably more than 38 to 40 hospitals they will be having. Okay, so ये सब merger is now I think in NTCL में है. It will take time, you know, for all this merger to happen. So because of this one time जो cost रहता है, इसके वजह से आप देख सकते हो PAT जो है, you know, it looks like, you know, it has fallen by 50%, but that is not the case over here. ठीक है. So again, Aster also the same thing, like I told you, right? इसका भी वही problem है Aster का. You know, they have a plan of doubling the bed capacity by FY27. We will have to wait and watch over here, you know, if that bed capacity happens, if it is commissioned, or let's say if this merger happens, what will be the growth rate going forward? Can it even inch up to, like, you know, Yatharth, which is a 30%, or KIMS, which is like a 27% ka growth engine, or Max, which is a 40% ka growth engine? This I would say is a wait and watch game over here. So that is one thing. Okay, so the merged company ka name is Blackstone backed Quality Care Limited. So that is one thing. Okay. Then we have Rainbow Children's Medicare. Rainbow Children's Medicare, unlike the other hospitals, I know it's not really comparable because रेनबो का अगर आप देखते हो it is completely focused on child care and, you know, maternal health, right? But still, if you look at it over here, I would say थोड़ा at least pace of growth वापस आ रहा है. The base is getting normalized over here. Here also the same thing, sales is up 15%, PAT is up 10%. ठीक है, इनका भी वही problem है कि, like, you know, occupancy है ठीक ठाक है, but here for the first time you will see the ARPOB has come down. That is because it's a very seasonal business. The entire hospital business is seasonal. Q3 में ज़्यादा festivities होता है, so lot of surgeries and all get delayed. As a result, इसलिए आप देख सकते हो the reason why you will see that the occupancy is up for Rainbow, but the ARPOB is down. One of the reason is this, because a lot of super speciality case mix का जो भी है, that, you know, in this quarter has come down. That is the only reason. But overall great. इनका भी वही है, right? In this year, as of now, they have around 1900 beds and they're targeting around 2700 beds, you know, probably by FY 27-28, right? And these beds that are there, the other incremental 50% addition in beds, it will get added, you know, in the next 3 years, slowly, and we will have to see, you know, how that will again add to the volume, will add to the occupancy. But as of now, iska bhi, you know, that earlier jo tha, you know, the pace of growth, if you see, Rainbow was growing at 20-25%, that has really come down. And now even the management has been very vocal about it ki, like, you know, abhi base normalize ho raha hai, so, you know, you can expect that somewhere between 10 to, like, you know, like low double digit growth, somewhere to mid to high double digit growth. So that's basically 15-18% ka growth you can expect from Apollo. ठीक है. Now let's talk about the big daddies over here. One is the Apollo Hospital and the other one is Max Healthcare. ठीक है. Apollo Hospital में one thing, like I told, like, since it is a big daddy, इसका base ही इतना बड़ा है, it becomes very difficult for you to scale at this base. Okay, and आप देख सकते हैं Apollo is there in every nook and corner, not just in T1 cities but even in T2 cities that are there. So now what Apollo is doing, no, like, instead of like doing a big hospital, एक, you know, एक बड़ा hospital करके, they're moving into छोटे से hospital. They've literally changed their model. Right now जो उनका बड़ा hospital है, they're doing expansion, but that expansion कुछ लायक ही नहीं है, like it's hardly anything. Their main focus is right now in that Apollo lifestyle, which is basically एक primary care होता है, where they are putting up this Apollo sugar clinic, Apollo dental clinic, you know, all of these clinic, which is like a franchised base, you know, where you give the brand name and everything, and it's a franchised based. Then you have this chotu hospitals such as Apollo Fertility, Apollo Cradle, you know, all of this, and diagnostics भी है उनका, ठीक है. Then this is the second part, which is like, you know, coming under Apollo lifestyle. So तीन segment है. One is Apollo Hospital, one is Apollo lifestyle and diagnostic, and the third is Apollo pharmacy, right? You would see Apollo ka pharmacy hai, and, you know, they have this app where you can consult a doctor and all, right? So this is the third part of the business. Now ये Apollo pharmacy and all, it is growing at a decent 15% का growth engine है, ठीक है, but it is really crushing the bottom line. That is one thing. Similarly, this Apollo ka jo other business hai, right, which is a primary care and everything, it is the same problem over here. All of this primary care, diagnostic, agar aap uska fertility business, IVF and cradle jo hai, which is specifically for, pregnant women and everything, even this business is growing at 15 to 18%, 18%. But the problem kya hai yahan pe? Either, they are like hardly making any profits, or they're still loss making. So iske wajah se, although they're growing at that 15 to 18%, they're not really adding over here to the bottom line or top line, ठीक है? And जो Apollo का main business है, right, which is the hospital based business, that is also growing hardly at 13 to 15% only. So all of the businesses consolidated में अगर आप देखते हो, सारा business is growing at 13 to 15%. So आपका consolidated में sales is growing at 13%, ठीक है? So that is the thing. Bottom line में थोड़ा दिक्कत हो रहा है. Like I told you, the other businesses that are there, it is hardly making any profit, or it is still a loss making companies only. EBITDA is also not break even, ठीक है? The only profitable business is their main hospital based business over here, ठीक है? Now one thing over here, you will see that the PAT जो है, it might look like, PAT is up by 50% or so when you look at the income statement. But if you look at the footnotes and you see, there are a lot of exceptional items because they've either acquired a company or they've incorporated a subsidiary. So as a result, there has been a lot of one-time expense, one-time gain, you can tell, one-time, not an expense, but an exceptional item आया है income statement में. As a result, वो आ रहा है. But having said that, don't expect anything like 30%, 40%. Probably, if let's say the next phase for Apollo for the growth will be, उनका जो primary clinics है, उनका जो fertility care है, उनका जो pharmacy business है, if this is able to, because if this, इसका base छोटा है ना, if they are able to expand this, if this grows at like 30 to 40%, that can increase the top line, but not the hospital over here. So for, that primary clinic and that, the fertility clinics or the specialty care that is there, that segment of the business, that really needs to ramp up, that really needs to get the patient ka, inpatient, outpatient, sub occupancy hona chahiye in order for Apollo to make money. Okay. Then the last hospital over here is Max Healthcare. Okay. Max Healthcare, I must say, really, it is, in fact, what a wonderful journey for Max, right? Like, because I still remember, I think this was one of the, like, it wasn't that big of a hospital. Apollo was a big daddy over here. And today, it's in a place where it is bigger than Apollo. Like, in terms of market cap, if you have to say, it is bigger than Apollo. Not just bigger than Apollo in terms of market cap or anything, but even the growth rate, man. Like, I think growth rate is also like 2.5x compared to Apollo, because Apollo is a 13% growth engine versus क्या है, I think 3x also, because Max is around a 40% का growth engine at the end of the day. So overall, like very exceptional journey. And इसलिए मैं क्यों बोल रही हूँ, because think about it ना, ये जो हमने सारा का सारा hospital का बात किया है, ठीक है, all of these hospitals at the end of the day, these are like see, Max का market cap is 90,000 crore. In सबका either is 30,000 crore or less than 10,000 crore. So Max is either like 10 to 20 times bigger than you, or probably like 2 to 3 times bigger than you. And in spite of it, Max is able to grow at 40%, like freaking 40%, bro. And you're like, and you being an ant in terms of size are not even able to do like half of what Max is able to do. So I hope you can understand the power and the sheer magnitude of what Max is able to bring to the table. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, Max grew by 40%. PAT में थोड़ा दिक्कत है. You will see the PAT hasn't really grown. PAT is down by 20%. Again, please understand over here, यहाँ पे operating leverage इसलिए नहीं मिला. It's not that something is wrong with the company, because इनका depreciation cost, all of this has increased, right? Employee benefit expenses, everything has taken a lot of rise, because क्या ये लोग इतना massively expansion कर रहे हैं. Because just to give you an idea, as of like March 24th, they had around 3,500 beds, and I think this year they're adding around probably like around another 1,000 to 1,300 beds. Okay, and they are planning to, in spite of this big base, they are planning to double the bed capacity and take up the bed capacity to around 6,300 or 7,000 beds in the span of next 4 years. That is by FY28 they want to take up to 7,000 beds, and in the next another 4 years probably they want to take it up to 12,000 beds, right? So can you imagine, इसका जितना size बढ़ रहा है उतना उसका growth rate भी they are able to maintain that pace of growth, which is a really huge task. I don't think, and especially when compared to hospitals, right, when you are like a इतना एक्सपेंसेस होता है, इतना देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ पुटिंग अप अ केपेक्स. इन स्पाइट ऑफ इट जितना बड़े बनते जा रहे हो, बड़े बनते जा रहे हो, टू एबल टू कीप अप दैट पेस ऑफ ग्रोथ, लाइक रियली इसको सल्यूट मारना चाहिए अल्टीमेटली. ठीक है, इसका भी वेरी द ऑल ऑफ देयर, बिकॉज दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ बेड्स दैट हैव कम अप इन टर्म्स, दे बिकम operationalized in this quarter and even in the last quarter. As a result, why, which is we are getting that incremental pace of growth, because earlier you saw it used to be a good 20 to 25% of growth engine, एंड अभी लास्ट 2 क्वार्टर से आप देख सकते हो पहले 30% मारा था, अभी 40%, बिकॉज जो भी उसने केपेक्स किया था, ठीक है, a lot of capex was getting done in the last 2 years. Many of those hospitals are getting commenced, and another I think साकेत का एक hospital है, then or there are many hospitals, again it will get operationalized in a span of like 2 to 3 quarters, and they have a lot of hospitals in pipeline. I am not going to go into the names because इनका like इतना सारा hospitals, इतना सारे बेड है. I मैक्स का ही मैं बोलते बोलते शायद 10 मिनट लगेगा मुझे सिर्फ उसका केपेक्स के बारे में बोलने में. ठीक है, इतना है उनका केपेक्स, आई मीन आई होप यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? सो उस द sheer amount of capex that they're doing now, like this is that one company जो every quarter कुछ ना कुछ इसका commence होने वाला है, कुछ ना कुछ hospitals commence होने वाले हैं. As a result you're going to get the get that growth rate going over here, or it is able to maintain that growth rate. But problem क्या है यहाँ पे मैक्स का, right? You can see growth rate है but bottom line नहीं है. bottom line क्यों नहीं? इतना aggressive expansion हो रहा है, right? Either you have to do QIP, या वरना आपको debt लेना पड़ रहा है, और या वरना आपको profitability को ही sacrifice करके आपके और एक capex डाल रहे हो. As a result क्या हो रहा है? EPS का expansion नहीं हो रहा है. See, think about this. Max का problem is not valuation, because if you look at the entire hospital space, we saw, right? We saw Yatharth is a 31% का growth engine. Okay, I will go from top to bottom in terms of growth rate. Okay, we have Asarfi is a 45% का growth engine. Then we have Max is a 40% growth engine. Yatharth 31%, KIMS 27%. और कौन है KIMS के बाद? कौन है? Jupiter is around 18%. Then we have Kowai 10%, Medanta 10%. Then we have GPT Healthcare 6%. Rainbow is 15%, somewhere after before Medanta, in the lines of Jupiter, right? Then we have Aster DM Healthcare, again 10%. So do you see over here? It is Asarfi, it is Max, and then it is Asarfi, Max, Yatharth and KIMS. This is the top 4 players that you can see. But the problem you understand over here, although Asarfi का problem क्या है? Although they are growing at 45%, that is not sustainable for them. Because if you look at my Asarfi का video, you understand कि like जो भी ये growth rate है, probably we are going to see for 1 or 2 years. After that इसका growth rate शायद will all of a sudden we'll see a dip in growth rate, right? Why? Because इनका जो expansion plan है, they are telling कि like we will put up probably why am I forgetting the numbers? उसका क्या था? अभी 250 बेड्स है, आई थिंक 250 to 300 बेड है, एंड दे विल टेक इट अप टू 1000 beds or something in a span of next 10 years, right? That is one thing. And I think वो शायद या 400 bed in the next 10 years, something like that. But I do remember उसका जो bed expansion का जो CAGR है, it is roughly 10%. That's it, okay? And उसका जो growth rate का भी CAGR है, for the next few years it will be 10%. That is it, okay? So as a result शायद Asarfi will be like probably for 1 to 2 years उसका 40% growth हो जाएगा. But after that क्या होगा? I don't think it can sustain that. But Max का क्या है? Like I told you, उसका bed expansion देखो, यहाँ अभी 4000 bed करेगा, 7000 bed by FY28, and after that another 4000 bed on that bigger base they will be doing another 4000 beds, right? Which is massive, and nobody is able to do this. And think about it, why would any shareholder, anybody for that matter, would want to leave a big established base? Think about it, Max is a leader over here, right? Like not just in terms of size, like a big daddy. It is like Marico and Britannia of the FMCG space, right? It is that big, and yet till today it is still the leader over here in terms of growth rate. It is growing fast. Why would anybody, like, see, if I'm playing Vector, if I'm choosing Vector over Britannia, why am I buying Vector? Or if I'm choosing, let's say I'm buying Kalyan or Senco over Titan, right? Or if I'm buying, let's say, Red Tape over Bata, why do you buy the small cap companies over the large cap companies? Why? Because यहाँ पे you would want, you think that ये छोटा cap जो है will become the next Britannia, Vector will become the next Britannia, Timex will become the next Ethos. That is the logic with which you buy. Now, how can it become the next Britannia or anything? One, you have to have immense growth rate, right? You have to grow at a faster rate than your giant for you to have some value. Then only आपका PE का re-rating भी होगा, ultimately यहाँ से EPS का भी expansion आएगा, then only it will be lucrative enough for you. Why not think about it? Why why would anyone want to take that risk, right? Because वहाँ पे already that big daddy has proven for all this time कि like, I'm the big daddy over here, corporate governance का कोई issue नहीं है. But think about it, in this entire hospital space, the big daddy only over here is growing, is the highest growth rate, max 40% का. Asarfi, I understand in terms of clear growth rate, if you take 40%, but it is highly unlikely, they will maintain that 45%, at least looking at their current numbers and their current plans that are there. It is highly unlikely, it can even come closer to max, closer to max in the next few years. It is not possible. So that is why max come. Then we have the other two competitors, which is KIMS and Yatharth, which can, right? KIMS and Yatharth, both of it can become the next max, right? There is a possibility, right? Because in growth rate, because they have expansions coming up, right? KIMS is putting up, more than 1,000 beds in the next 2 quarters. Yatharth is also doubling the bed capacity. But problem क्या है यहाँ पे? यथार्थ और किम्स का, यथार्थ का पूछो ही मत, ऑलरेडी ग्रोथ रेट थोड़ा कम हो चुका है, एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट उसका कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस का इश्यू होता ही रहता है, ठीक है. बट ओवर हियर किम्स का भी वही प्रॉब्लम है, नॉट कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस इश्यू, बट द ग्रोथ रेट हैज, नॉट द ग्रोथ रेट, बट it might not, like uska jo bed capacity hai, the rate at which they have to do, the volumes that is there, it's still not matching up. Kaha 40%, kaha 30%. Although they're doing everything, it is still not up to the mark. You have to grow faster than max for you to get that same kind of valuation that max is, and you have to do consistently while providing operating leverage. The reason why max is not able to like make money, is because not, although it is the topmost player over here, यहाँ पे higher growth rate से बढ़ रहा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे EPS का problem है. EPS is not growing. Understand that. Valuation का problem नहीं है at the end of the day. It's not that अरे Max is not making money because it's already at a high PE or anything. No, Max is growing at a faster rate. इसलिए वो पैसा बनाना ही चाहिए. But unfortunately उसका EPS का growth नहीं है. When you are at this high PE, now you need both. It's not for this company alone. Any company for that matter, you need both. You need growth rate as well as EPS expansion. Max का problem क्या है? Growth rate है, EPS नहीं है. यथार्थ का problem क्या है at the end of the day? Why is it not able to make money for its shareholder? Growth rate taper हुआ है, along with that EPS भी, because of the expansion that they're doing, EPS नहीं है, and on top of that corporate governance issue. KIMS का problem क्या है यहाँ पे? Because already यथार्थ और Max है. Although you're growing, you're not able to make as much as money for your shareholder because you are not the fastest growing here in the space. You have to beat यथार्थ and you have to beat Max, and you have to do so while providing operating leverage, ठीक है? And दूसरों को बात ही मत करो. Who is that? Global Health, Jupiter Lifeline, and anything. Although they have, ठीक है, even though tomorrow they come up to the growth rate, again highly unlikely they will be able to compete. The only way all of these only way KIMS and Yatharth will make money is if they grow faster than that of Max. That is like the ultimate crucial point, right? And will they be able to do it? Will they not be able to do it? It's something that we have to track and see, right? Because both Yatharth and KIMS actually will be coming up with lot of capacities in Q4 and Q1. यथार्थ को Q1 में होगा, even KIMS का भी Q1 of FY26 में ही होगा, not because it got delayed, na, that is the one thing. उसके बाद, because of all these capacities that are coming up, if they're able to grow at 40% or operating leverage आ गया, and along with that if Max is also growing at 40%, then both Yatharth and KIMS will make money. Because यहाँ पे क्या है, in terms of valuation this is a little bit accretive ना, so यहाँ पे PE rating मिलना, it is much more easier for them. But अगर वो PE rating मिलना चाहिए, these two competitors that are there, they have to grow at faster than Max. वरना यथार्थ और किम्स को PE का rating नहीं मिलेगा. You have to grow faster than Max for you to get a PE rating. So if you are a KIMS or if you are a यथार्थ का shareholder, you will have to pray to God every quarter and see कि like भाई Max से ज़्यादा grow करो. At the same time, if you are a Max का shareholder, you will have to pray and tell कि like भाई किम और यथार्थ घटिया करे और मैं I will do the maximum thing, right? So that's that with the entire hospital space. I really tried my best over here to to cover the entire space over here, because there are a lot of things over here to cover, right? But if you can understand the big picture as like what is happening, right, then it is well and good. You can go into the nitty-gritty details of it, that you can do it later. But unless until you understand the big picture, you understand like what is a problem with each company, that is more than good enough. And just the last thing, right, as you all know, like the prices for both investment checklist and the financial sector workshop is going to be doubled, right, starting from tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So make sure you get your hands on it before it's too late. Okay, so that's that. Take care. Bye.